Echo Memorial Airport. Automated weather observation 1556 Zulu weather. Wind calm. Visibility 102,900. Scattered. Temperature 27 Celsius. Dew point 21. Altimeter 3010. Remarks. Density altitude 2,200.
So it feels like summer, doesn't it, Roger?
Oh, it does, yeah. Finally the temperature is got a little higher than it was earlier, and yeah.
Well, we're both in shorts and t-shirts, so we're ready to enjoy it, and we're here in the Cruzer. I'm Sebastien, and
Roger,
and this is our pre-Oshkosh preview video, basically. Talk a little bit about flying out to Oshkosh and what we plan on doing, and this is the 2025 edition of EAA Airventure. Always a pleasure for us to go out. And we're here in the Cruzer now. If you can kind of see there from the outside, this Cruzer looks like a brand new airplane, doesn't it?
It does.
And why is that?
Well, we keep it up good shape, and then.
Oh, I thought you told me it was a brand new airplane. No.
Yes, it's one of our original Cruzers, but we keep it up to shape, and we like keeping our old demos because we can do a lot of testings and not have to worry about repainting an airplane just for doing testing and.
Yeah. And they're also our demo airplanes, they're what the term, like a basketball. They're up and down all the time. No, but that's really what you put wear on an airplane.
Right.
And if you look at these airplanes, they're in really good shape. And so I'll let you do the pre-flight and before we go around.
Yeah, so we're in the 750 Cruzer with the UL Power 350i 118 horse, and we're going to do a run up. It's direct drive air cooled fuel injection. So we're going to run it up, dual ignitions. We're going to check each ignition, and we'll run up to 1600 RPM and let it sit there for a second or two, and then switch it back to both, and then go to the left. So we're going to go to the right. It drops a little, but not as much as like a conventional.
Yeah, you barely notice it, do you?
Right. And go to the left, let it sit there, running smooth, back to both, running smooth. Temperatures, pressures, looks great. And we just filled up with fuel, and we can check controls clear and free, and then we'll lower the flaps, which is 15 degrees, which is the flap one full length. Excellent. And we'll bring up the flaps, and I don't use any flaps for takeoff. Yeah, you might be able to take off a few feet shorter, but it's not necessary. Control switches, transponders on for VFR, doors locked secure. Seatbelt, everything looks good, and we do have the fuel select on the fullest tank. And we'll just let it warm up a little bit more because we just started it. Oil temperatures up to almost 150 degrees, so we're in the green. Yep.
I love this engine because it's really a simple startup. Just turn the key and push the throttle, and that's pretty much it, isn't it?
And, most new engines are about like that. It's come a long way.
Yeah, we're not managing it like some of the old school engines.
Right. And I get questions all the time about the center stick and the dual stick, and in the last few weeks I've gotten a lot of questions about that. I like the center stick, and even though if the center stick is a little bit shorter, you can always, have it heightened a little bit, an inch or two, so you can get it away from the east. But
yeah, go ahead.
I like the center stick because it's definitely easier to get in and out. It's direct link to that torque tube. So maybe I shouldn't say it, but I think it feels a lot smoother with the center stick with the dual stick. And yeah, it's just a lot of it's easier getting in and out.
Getting in and out, having the pre lap, I think is nice, especially with iPads and things like that. And I know sometimes on the ground you say, oh, my knee's in the way and stuff, but in the air, if you'll watch in the air, this is our range of motion right here. Right. And so if your legs are in the way, you will make space for them, because I mean you are doing dramatic stuff in the air. Aerobatic type maneuvers or really bumpy air. So which is why I find it's rare that it's actually truly in the way. Like, I mean, if you stand like this, yeah, it feels like it's in the way, but in a normal flying situation, you're well within the range of motion.
And I'd say most customers, when they're calling about the dual stick versus center stick, it's more of the question of how do I do dual throttles? But that's not an issue. I have dual throttle here. I hooked up the other throttle directly to the throttle body and then took the friction out of here, so it's not an issue at all. So, and that's almost any engine you can do that.
Okay, let's get flying here. It's warming up on the ground.
Mexico traffic, Stanley 750 Zulu Whiskey is going to be departing runway 06. Will be a local flight to the northeast Mexico.
And it looks like there's no ground wind at all, is there?
Yeah, so we got ADS-B on our dynon screen, so we definitely a visual check, and then I'll check the screen just to see if there is any traffic coming in. And I don't see any. We do have a crop duster, looks like, out there. We'll keep an eye out on him, for him.
Yeah, he's coming in at 600 feet, so yeah, that's probably a crop duster.
Doors lock secure one last time.
Good over here.
And what I like to do is ease back the stick a little bit, about 75%, ease into power, add the power the rest of the way, nose comes up, and just let it almost like a soft field takeoff. And the traffic is 300 foot, so it's definitely a crop duster, so we'll just keep an eye out on the screen.
And it looks like he's going to be coming in on 3-6.
Yeah. And we got definitely have the right freak.
Wow, look how green it is, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, we've had some nice rains in the last week and a half.
This is one of these days with no wind. We could take off and land on every runway.
Yeah.
I did that not too long ago. It's always nice. I find it's good practice.
Yeah.
And I always find it's harder to land well with no headwind than it is with, because we're used to always having a bit of headwind. And when there's no wind, of course, we won't do, downwind landings unless you're at a landing strip that there's just one way in, one way out. But
all right, we're 500 feet past the runway, and we're going to make our turn to the northeast.
Yeah, Mexico traffic, 750 Zulu Whiskey is departing the pattern to the northeast for local traffic, Mexico.
yeah, this is the heading we'll take, the exact heading we'll take to Oshkosh, which is north-east departure or heading pretty much the whole entire way. And it's interesting, we usually post a video of our Oshkosh trips, but even the view you see out here, you got soybeans and corn. That view does not change for many miles, pretty much all here all the way up to Oshkosh. Oh, you're putting it in now, there you go. Dialing it in. Yeah, it's and what was it? I think it's 300 nautical miles, pretty much, to get there.
Right. We're set in there.
Yeah.
Looks like
371 statute miles. Yeah. Be there by 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oshkosh. This is again. I don't even know which number we've been going to, because we've been going to many Oshkosh. I remember going up there as a kid, and Oshkosh for us is we have the homecoming in September, but Oshkosh in and of itself is nearly a homecoming, isn't it? Because
it is.
We see people and meet industry people, and that's the thing. Oshkosh is not just about the Zenith community. It's obviously it's a much bigger, and it's really become anything to do with light aviation and even arguably general aviation. Oshkosh is the show to go to, and so it's a great opportunity for us to meet with vendors and suppliers, to meet, of course, with customers, existing customers and new customers. And we just have a number of activities. One thing we like to do at Oshkosh is always show the hands-on construction side of it, because I know air shows, it's great to look at airplanes, and we're kind of like kids in candy stores, all these beautiful airplanes out there, but also seeing how they're built, learning about the construction and so forth. So we always sponsor and support the Homebuilt area, the airplane hangar, We always have some demonstrations going on there, and actually we'll also be doing some rudder assemblies there. And those of you that are interested in learning a little bit more about building, we probably will have a few spaces available for doing rudder assemblies there. And that's basically the same experience as we do when we have the workshop at the factory, but we do that right at Oshkosh. So if you're there for a few days at Oshkosh and you're interested, give us a call. Try to do that ahead of time before we leave for Oshkosh. But even if you're at the show, let us know then and there, because it's a great opportunity to learn about the sheet metal construction that is characteristic of Zeniths, to learn about our blind rivets, our final hole size match drill technology, and Calvin will be heading that area, and he's very knowledgeable and loves to talk about all things aircraft construction.
Yeah, and it's going to be building the rudders and then a few other sections on the Cruzer too. So, you know, the builders, you know, not just because of the rudder, they get to see other sections also.
Absolutely. And we'll be sponsoring this year again the women's only workshop.
Oh, great.
And I know they do a bunch of rudders, and I think they've got 2 days. It's on the first and second days, I believe. And it's a good opportunity for spouses if they want to learn a little bit more about building and not have their significant other tell them how to do it.
and I heard that us guys have to stand behind the line.
Yeah, they won't. And I kind of understand why, because I know for a lot of guys it's just hard to do. Right. It's hard to, because you've got the experience, or you think you have the experience, so you want to kind of share that. But at the same time, women are probably more capable than we realize sometimes, and quite frankly make excellent builders, because I think they have a better tendency to read the instructions first rather than after the fact, and they pay attention to detail. So they make wonderful aircraft builders and great pilots as well for those very same reasons. And so I'm hopeful, you know, as being in the industry, it's you know, most of our customers are male dominated in that business, but it's great to see more and more women getting involved. You know, it's great to see younger people as well, and we'll have Carson Stilson is going to be making his appearance at Oshkosh with his Zenith STOL CH 750 Super Duty that he just recently completed. He's kind of on a whirlwind tour right now, just getting it done. It's actually in California on the West Coast. He was saying he saw the Pacific Ocean with that airplane just the other day, and he's going to be at Oshkosh with that airplane. I believe it's at the Lycoming booth. He's going to be front and center, and many of you know Carson because he's a well-known entity in the social media circles, Instagram, Facebook, and things like that. And from my understanding, he's been telling me that his build is definitively the most watched home-built aircraft construction project of all time. And he's got the numbers to back this up, like millions and millions of viewers. And we're, you know, we dabble, of course, in social media, but not to the extent that Carson, you know, does. He's a real expert with that, using all the modern platforms, and he's got just a wonderful, I guess, influencer, I guess you could say, in those terms. But more importantly, he's a great builder and he's a great pilot as well. So we really, it's been amazing to watch what he's done building the airplane, and it's going to be even more amazing to see what he does with his airplane after.
Left downwind for runway 36 for
So one of the things we also like to do at Oshkosh is hold seminars, basically sharing information about building and flying Zenith airplanes, and sharing information about who we are. I have a seminar on Zenith updates, and just providing, you know, updates on what's been going on at Zenith this past year, and sharing information about our designs and our airplanes. I also have a seminar on STOL, short with form follows function. I like talking about the design elements, what makes these Zeniths such great STOL airplanes. And then we also like to talk about, on the building side, rivets and sheet metal construction, talking about, especially on the newer kids, final hole size match drill technology. And then my brother Matt always puts on a seminar about ongoing airworthiness. And that's especially important for guys that have been flying their Zeniths for 10, 20, 30 years, as well as second, third owners of Zenith, learning more about the airplane, how to keep it airworthy, how to how to make sure you maximize the enjoyment as well as safety of your airplane. So we like to do that. We do that as part of the Chris Heintz Foundation, where we really share ongoing education and information about Chris's great designs. And also this year we'll be flying a group of Zeniths up to Oshkosh. You'll be flying, I think, the Super Duty.
I will.
Again this year I'll probably be flying in this airplane. Now, as you saw earlier, you know, this airplane's all white, so it's going to have a new colors, if you will, or new scheme on the outside. So, and I'm not gonna give it away quite yet. Is it going to be, you know, it used to be for the last 10 years nearly, it's been this American flag theme. Is it, right? You know, so what's it going to be now? Is it going to be a different country theme? Is it going to be completely different? It'll be, we'll see.
Stay check, traffic, Skyhawk 80335, 10 miles to the west, inbound to land. Stay check.
So I'm kind of excited about having a new look on the airplane. You know, that said, when we talk about paint schemes, there's a lot of different ways of finishing your airplane. You know, the vinyl wrap is a popular way of doing it. There's, well, vinyl, the entire wrap, or just put vinyl decals on it. Polished aluminum is beautiful. Just a lot of different ways of finishing your airplane. So our good friend Randy Shannon, he'll be flying his Super Duty up again, and he loves to fly his Super Duty up to Oshkosh. Low and slow. He's usually a bit lower than us even when we fly cross country.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Very nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
And he also has an 801, and it looks just like a Super Duty. It's the same color scheme, and he's invited James Fisher from Australia to fly that airplane. And James, those of you that follow the Zenith community probably already know James or of James. He's our rep in Australia, a very active pilot and enthusiast, and he's really been looking forward to flying into Oshkosh, landing on one of the colored dots at Oshkosh. So he'll be flying up the 801 from Missouri as well. And James is also the Viking Aircraft Engines rep in Australia, as well as a Zenith rep, and so he'll be hanging out at the Zenith booth. And right next to the Zenith booth is Viking Aircraft Engines. They always, every year, they bring in a bunch of airplanes with, of course, with Viking engines. And on Wednesday night, and that's the night of the night air show, we also host a happy hour at the Zenith booth, and sponsored by our friends at Viking Aircraft Engines. And that's, you know, we have a few beverages and snacks at the booth. A lot of folks just wait around after the close of the official exhibit at 5 p.m. Then we wait around till the start of the night air show. So it's a great time to hang out at the Zenith booth. Now the following night at Oshkosh, we also host our annual Zenith Banquet, and certainly invite everybody to come out for the banquet, because that's a great opportunity to catch up with each other. We have a few things that we always like to share every year at the banquet, and we also have a few special guests every year. And so that's Thursday night, and it's always at the Mineshaft restaurant right next to the airport. So easy to get to, inexpensive, but at the same time, it's a great buffet and a great time to end the Thursday evening.
Side note, if anybody else wants to join us as a Zenith group, we'll probably land at Portage, Wisconsin. And we'll probably eat lunch and just get all our bearings, and then head for the arrival for Oshkosh sometime Saturday. I think it's the 19th, right, in the afternoon.
Yeah. So what we typically do is we leave Mexico, Missouri Saturday morning, and we kind of make our way out, and we're not in a rush, so we kind of follow rivers and stop along the way. And like Roger.
335, 5 miles to the west, inbound, enter the downwind for 27, stay check.
Like Roger mentioned, so we try to meet up at Portage, so it's a good place, and then fly right into Oshkosh from there. So Oshkosh is a great place to learn, you know, like I was saying, about anything to do with aviation. But even as a Zenith builder, if you're out to choose an engine for your aircraft, lots of different engine, all the different engine companies and manufacturers are there.
It'll be a 2 mile straight on final 07 Harmony.
You know, the kind of the regular aircraft engines, you know, like Homing, Continental, Rotax, Jabiru. as well as the alternative engines. Well, newcomers like UL Power, like we're flying in our Cruzer now, they're going to be out there also.
Right.
And then the alternative ones like Corvair, you know, William Wynn always brings a few Corvair powered airplanes out there, as well as, like I mentioned, Viking and a number of other ones, sometimes brand new ones as well. And then same with the avionics companies are all there. And I mean, I think I said this before, but for years I used to tell people, you know, tell active Zenith builders, you know, stay home and work on your airplane instead of going to Oshkosh. But right, I really don't say that anymore, because Oshkosh is such a great source of inspiration and motivation to go home and finish your airplane, as well as, you know, to learn about the latest technology on avionics and you know, things that finish your airplane. And so it really is a good place to learn more about you know, everything home building. And then of course I know a lot of lifelong friendships have been made at Oshkosh. People meet up there, and you know, it's just with the love of aviation and a good shared interest in that. I know Jerry Ebke, he's going to be back there with his 650. He was recently featured in the June issue of Sport Aviation magazine with his beautiful 650, and he's going to be back with it. I know Phil Schmidt will be back with his 650. He has a Corvair, not a Corvair, Viking powered, and that airplane has a full vinyl wrap on it. Really neat airplane to look at too. And then I know we were just talking about Jonathan Fay. He's flying down his big tire Cruzer from Washington State.
Right.
You know, it's always interesting to see all the Zeniths that show up and from where they fly in from. And of course, Oshkosh is the place to fly in your home-built aircraft to. So a lot of folks, it becomes a bucket list item to do just that. And then of course, if you come to the Zenith booth, you know, come by, say hi. If you're an existing builder, of course, make sure you say hi. But even if you're a new face, if you're looking at learning to build and fly your own airplane, you want to sit in the factory demo airplanes, walk over to the airplane hangar and learn a little bit more about hands-on construction. And before I forget, yeah, on the very first day, on the Monday, the 21st, I believe it is, we're doing a Homebuilts in review of the Zenith airplanes.
335, turning final, 27, stay check.
And that's right at Oshkosh, and that's right next to the Zenith booth, so it's really easy. We'll have a couple Zeniths there, and myself or Roger will be talking about Zenith. Maybe we'll talk about our flight into Oshkosh and you know, everything just to share more information about building and flying your Zenith airplane. So what's the thing you like most about Oshkosh?
Oh, there's so many things, but flying in is, you know, one of the top ones, and it's easy. I've done it, you know, 30 sometimes, but it's still exciting and fun.
Well, it's always an adventure, because you never know, you just don't know what to expect.
Right. And the way I like it is we don't have any destinations on the way up, and it's always fun. You don't know where you're going to land or stop. I always enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then meeting all our friends between customers, vendors, just meeting up again since Sun and Fun, more or less, or last Oshkosh.
Right. Yeah, you know, talking about friends, I know Mark Seaver, who's one of our friends, but a supplier to many in the industry.
Right.
He brings his plastic fairing pieces, and he's got a couple times scheduled where at the Zenith booth he'll be doing a talk about, and it's just an informal presentation about his products and how to install them. He's got a number of new fairings for both 650s and the high wings. And so we again, it's a great opportunity to learn more about not only building, but if you're flying a finished Zenith and you want to add fairings, add a little bit more speed or the aesthetics on your airplane, that's a great way to do that also.
Traffic 55166, left downwind for runway 36, close up.
So anyway, make sure you look us up at Oshkosh, come by, say hi, and check the Facebook page. We always have some updates, some new activities that we'll be doing. I always like to do some pop-up activities at the booth, whether it's somebody coming talking about their airplane that's unique. Sometimes we get groups of school kids come by that have been working on the Zenith, and they like to provide an update and want to sit in the airplane that they're working on. Just fun things like that. So it's a great opportunity to do that.
Exactly. And one thing we can't forget about, you know, working at the factory, we all deserve a vacation, a week off, and our Cleco the cat, he's worked hard the last year, and he caught a lot of mice and, you know, gave tours in the factory, and he took a vacation to Tennessee. Isn't that right?
He sure did. That's a good story.
He entered a trailer of Nick Otterbach, the Arian Aircraft. They were picking up some parts and sections of the airplane, and he decided to go in the trailer and take a nap, and he woke up in Tennessee the next day.
Yeah, that's quite an adventure for a cat to go cross country from Missouri to Tennessee, and that's about, what, an 8-hour drive?
Yeah.
And what's neat too, though, is we got the cat back to us, and it was that few days later we were hosting a workshop, and we had a customer from Georgia, and they were passing right by the Arion factory, so they picked up the cat and drove the cat all the way back to Missouri, because I know, Roger, you become quite attached to that cat.
Oh, yeah.
And I know a lot of customers visit that cat, and that cat's, if you get a chance, you know, visit with that cat a little bit, because he's like really a dog personality in a cat.
Exactly.
Because very personable and really neat cat. So
yeah,
that's a good. Thanks for sharing that, because that's an interesting story about that.
Well, I think we'll have to start heading back, because I know there's a lot of work to be done before we head off to Oshkosh next Saturday. So I think we'll get set up for a downwind and.
Wonderful.
Brookfield traffic, Cherokee 55166 base to runway 36 Brookfield. Mexico traffic, Scramble 750 Zulu Whiskey is 2 miles to the north, inbound landing runway 06 Mexico.
Okay, we got...
Track 260 for Isabel, 1 mile to the south of Mexico, crop dusting, Mexico.
So we do gas, we got the fuel pump, we won't turn that one extra on, controls clear, free, seat belts, yep, everything looks good.
I know, these little chats as we're turning circles in the air become pretty relaxing, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a crop duster about half a mile south of the runway.
Hey, Mexico traffic, Scramble 750 Zulu Whiskey is going to turn left downwind for 06, and I do have a spray plane in sight.
Yeah, they are fun to watch. These turboprop powered crop dusters have a lot of power, and when they do a 180, they nearly do a hammerhead in the process. Fun to watch. And of course, you know, those of you that are passing through, we are going to stay open during the Oshkosh week at the factory. We have a busy workload, yep. So feel free to drop by. Of course, Roger and myself and a few of us are going to be at Oshkosh, but Joyce and Caitlin will be at the factory taking care of things, as well as Travis on the production side, of course. And so feel free to come by and visit with us. Now we'll also be driving up the Sprinter van. If you need us to bring a few parts to you at Oshkosh, let us know. Make sure you call ahead of time, of course, to do that.
Yep, the sooner the better. And I lowered or let off the airspeed to the wide arc, and I've lowered the flaps just a few degrees and started my descent to base to final.
Mexico traffic, get track 260 for joining on a right downwind runway 6, number 2 Mexico.
Okay, Mexico traffic, Zenith 750 is turning left base for 06 Mexico.
We're going to cut this a little shorter than normal, just because we got a spray plane. I'd say, you know, we're working too, but he's working a little harder than we are today, so
That's right.
This amazes me. Those guys, they'll start at sunrise and end at sunset.
Yeah, it's hard work, and it's a good way to build up hours as a pilot, because you're flying in pretty extreme conditions. You really have to know your airplane and fully loaded.
260, turn right base, number 206 Mexico.
Okay, Mexico traffic, Springball 750 short final 06 Mexico.
And flaps all the way down, power's all the way back.
What a great view.
Yeah, we're a little high, so what we're going to do is we're just going to slip it a little bit.
See that? Nice.
Just to lose a little bit.
Yeah, nice. I get the view here, being sitting on the side.
Nice and clean airplane. It glides very nice. I had the power back.
Well done. Well, thanks for taking me flying on such a nice day, and we look forward to seeing all of you guys up at Oshkosh, and of course those of you that aren't coming to Oshkosh, we'll send updates what's going on, and feel free to reach out to us anytime.
Yeah, see you guys.